Have you ever had a friend who comes to you with a problem and they tell you the problem, and then you listen and you sympathize with them, and then they go away and whatever happens, and they come back to you and you have the same conversation over and over again? They bring the same problem and nothing has changed. I think we've all been there. I know I've been that friend who comes to a friend. In fact, I'll share a little personal story. Years and years ago, I was in a situation. It was living in a particular place, and my friend would ask me, "How are things?" And I would tell her, "Things are not good." And I would give her various examples of why things weren't good. And then we would lose touch for about a month, and then we'd come together again. And she would say, "How are things going?" And I would say the same. I was in the same situation, maybe little slightly different story, right? Same stuff, different day. I think there's a more colloquial way to say that. But I would repeat the same problem to her. And I started to listen to myself and hear myself saying all these complaints to her about the same situation. And it was not changing. In fact, it was getting worse. So, have you had a friend come to you and spill out a problem, maybe a work problem, or they're complaining about their job over and over? Slightly different story, different day, but the main problem they keep bringing to you is the job or the relationship or where they live or something that they are harping on. And you listen patiently to them. And pretty soon it gets old, right? You wish you could help them out of the problem. Maybe you've given them solutions, ideas, but nothing changes. So I have been that person who has listened to myself complaining about a situation. And I want to tell you, this is a very personal story. But years ago, my friend, having listened to me over and over again, said to me at one point, and she was just so compassionate, but she said to me, "What's your plan?" Now that stopped me in my tracks. What's your plan? Words, three magic words. What's your plan? At that point, it just stopped me from going on because now I had a new problem. I had to figure out if I'm complaining about this thing, and I've been complaining about it for years and years, what am I going to do about it? So that's another variation on what are you going to do about it? But I think it's a kinder way of saying, what's your plan? And honestly, as soon as she said that, the wheels in my head started to turn, and I did get a plan. And this was a big change I had to make. I was living somewhere, I was living with different people, and the living situation was not good. And it was getting worse year after year. And when she said those three words to me, those three magic words, what's your plan? That stopped me. That stopped me from going. It's like Groundhog's Day, right? You do the same thing over and over. That's the movie Groundhog's Day I'm referring to. If you have a friend or if you are that person, I really want to invite you to listen to your own dialogue or listen to that person's dialogue. And if it's the same story, the same problem, and there's no plan to make a change, then I invite you to say that to yourself, what's my plan? Or to say to your friend in a very compassionate way, what's your plan? What are you going to do about this? This is a difficult situation. So, right now, I have a client and she has taken action. She signed up with me and we first worked on her plan. We got a passion, purpose, paycheck, I call it action plan. We got her plan, we worked through all the different steps, and then she said, "Okay, I'm ready to implement this plan." So now she is implementing the plan and she feels great. She feels like she's doing something. She's still in the same work situation, but she has already felt lighter, felt less stressed, she's told me. And her colleagues are seeing the change in her and they're seeing that she has gotten a plan and she is acting upon it. So I want to just invite you the next time you either hear yourself complaining or hear someone else complaining, and it's like the umpteenth time that they have had the same, complaints, the same problem over and over, just compassionately, either to yourself, if you're complaining and you can hear that complaint in your mind, complaining about your boss, complaining about your job, complaining about something that you actually could maybe do something about, then ask yourself, what is my plan? And once you get a plan, the next step is implementing your plan. And that's where really I come in at both steps. So with my clients, we don't just jump in, we always get a plan first. Where are you now? Where do you want to be in the future? And then once we have an idea of the situation, we can map out the steps so that now, instead of just thinking, oh, I'm in a mess, this is never going to change, now that person, my client, has a plan of action. They have their passion, purpose, paycheck action plan, and they're ready to do something about it. And then we start to implement. So once you need to look around for the support to, if you get a plan, the next step is to get the support you need. I always call it a container of support, whether it's an expert or if your situation is something about moving, talk to a friend. Okay, help me. How do I do this? Where do I get the boxes from? Start to implement the plan, but get support so that you can. So today, I just want you to know those three magic words. If you find yourself complaining over and over again about the same issue, the same problem, and things are not getting better, and chances are they're getting worse, then it's time. It's time for you to get a plan. And if a friend comes to you and, again, for the umpteenth time, is telling you this situation, this bad situation, and how we tend to complain and then we just blow off steam. But I think it's kinder and more authentic to say to that person, I care about you. So what's your plan? And then just be quiet. That's what happened with me. My friend just said those three words, what's your plan? And it stopped me. It stopped that turning and that commotion in my brain and that spinning. And that's what you want to do with that three-word sentence. They're your magic words for today, okay? And what's your plan? And I want to ask you, what is your plan? And you can put that in the comments, share with me. What is your plan? If you're in a situation, a job situation, it could be a personal situation, and things are not going well, are you willing to get a plan? That's the first question. Or do you want to keep complaining about the problem? If you want to keep complaining about it, you might need some new friends because your friends are going to get tired of hearing it. And quite frankly, you're going to get tired of hearing it in your own mind. I know that's the way I am when I can hear myself complaining about a situation. I use those three magic words. What's your plan? Go ahead and in the comments, share. Are you stuck in a situation? Are you going to use those words? What's your plan? Do you need a plan? I would love to hear your comments. And if you have any other tips and suggestions for how can you compassionately listen to someone and then ease them in the direction of making a change. If you have another idea or you are using those magic words, what's your plan? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So this is Patrice Perillo, and as I'm on the journey with you, and I hope this has been helpful. I can't wait to see your comments, and I'll see you soon.